I don't understand what's going on here. The frame-up job. It's just not possible that anyone else, that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we've just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Taketsuchi Auchi, have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryu. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now's your chance to expose it. To draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick, understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Ugh. So it's almost the same thing. Let's press. Yes! See what shakes loose. No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Attention! Oh my god, that's so good. The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving a gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Grr. Let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this moment the most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korikuta-san? Yes, pointing the gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I saw for myself. Yes! While you were looking for your coin? Yes, it may be true that I was holding a gun at that point in time. But I've told you already that's only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I'd just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet. I picked it up. At exactly that moment, bang! A gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor. I find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Yes, okay. Anyway, the fact remains myself, I did see you. With the pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. A visual search confirmed we were the only personnel. Yes! Let's see what they say next. You must have noticed something else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. Objection! As you've been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. She was hiding under the table. If only there'd been more people dining there that time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. No, of course the place was almost empty. What do you expect? Certainly 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. I wonder if there's a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was. It was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Consul? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. The Hota Clinic! Oh, cool! That's from one of the old games, the Hota Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 9th of November, noon past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. It was called the Hota Clinic. Oh yes, that's right. Yes, it was, in the last one. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment, then the explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it had already had no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Ryu? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered onto the court record as evidence if you think it can be useful. Should I ask for it? Yes. I want to have a look at it. Yes! Excuse me. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection.
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defence's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. And this is when we find out he already had a bullet lodged in his chest. And it was waiting to go off any minute. It was the whole bullet, case included. Maybe. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Alright, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong the trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you both. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubts. Feel free to reiterate the accused, Korikuta-san. Alone he was, dining by himself. Well, let's have a look at this. Actually, let's have a look. I was just wondering if there was an inconsistency between those two. Okay, we can't actually look at this and see what's on it. That's a shame. Hey, Alchemist! Well, I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but that looks like a dead dude. It might be. We're not sure yet. How's it going, Alchemist? Good to see you, dude. Man, I was kind of hoping we'd get some details on here, but apparently not. It's very, very pointless. Indeed, he was alone, dining by himself. Let's press that. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone? That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. Hang on a minute. Double checking again. I was just wondering, is the steak partially eaten in the one where he's dead? The hell is this? Meiji era, right? Pretty much. It's like Victorian era Phoenix Wright game, but it's in Japan. So basically, let's see, people. Yeah, we've got a friend here, Kazuma Asogi, who is going to study abroad in the Great British Empire as part of this like whole study deal, so he can go and see how the legal system works over there in the West. But this guy, John H. Wilson, a visiting medical guy, was shot by someone in this restaurant, and the only other diners that were there were these two guys and our character Ryu, who was accused of shooting him because he was there with a gun in his hand the moment it happened. But he picked the gun up off the floor. While he was picking it off the floor, somebody shot the professor, and then he turned around obviously and stood up and saw this guy bullet hole in chest, but nobody else saw anything. The waiter was in the kitchen. These guys say they only saw the victim and our guy there. So yeah. So Meiji era, yeah. It's Meiji. I keep forgetting which eras are where, but yeah, it's that time period, pretty much. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with. There's only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. Our guy remembers seeing a woman sat with the victim, though. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible they're all lying. That's it, it's a conspiracy if they're lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Because there's some politics involved in this as well, with the fact that a treaty has been signed between the British Empire and the Empire of Japan, and now a British guy was killed, so they want answers quick, you know. The Meiji started around the middle of the Victorian era and ended about 30 years after the end of the Victorian era. Ah, okay, so yeah, it's that era then. It's when they're starting to get more westernized, you know, and like opening up with other countries and swapping information, technology, trading. So yeah, it's around that time. Therefore, no one other than the black uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed, but for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryu. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes. We know they're lying. Good. But I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see the medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Ah, right, so now we'll get to do that. Cool, how exactly? Use our eyes, you dundernut. You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These ones you may examine. Press space and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Oh! Alright. So now it's going to give us... Well, it will do in a minute. We've finished hearing him out. Right, use the up, down, left, rights to rotate it. Rotate the evidence in directions and examine it from all angles. By using the WASDA, you can move a crosshair around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshair starts to pulsate, press space to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a close look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use the buttons and space and blah blah blah. Oh, it's dog-eared at the back, but let's have a look around. So yeah, there's a thing here. The name, Mr. John Wilson of the Hota Clinic. It says Hota Clinic on the medical report card. I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same thing? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Ugh. Never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have the only one cold in their life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Yeah, so... What's that? Oh, right, that's the same thing. This? It's a dentist. So that's where he went. There's no date. Looks like the medical report card was first issued some time ago. Wasn't the Hota Clinic in another Phoenix Wright game had some creepy dude that collected women's pictures? Yeah, that was the Hoti Clinic with an I instead of an A. But yes, that was from another one. It's probably a record of a long-term treatment. That's why, with a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So you don't like doctors, huh? Why would you? They make you drink horrible-tasting medicine and they give you painful injections. Then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege. That's when you're at your lowest... All when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient, but a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is a very bitter medicine indeed. Alright. Let's open it up. Alright. Load of them here. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of a molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas? That's the modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you from feeling pain. There's a cautionary note from a medical practitioner as well. Let me guess. Don't eat any steaks. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic's effects have passed. Why was he eating? An hour later. Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. So, record of dental work on the day of the murder. The victim had undergone dental treatment and been prohibited from eating or drinking anything but water. Well, he did have water. It was carbonated water on the table. With this new information, the meaning of the particular statement, that one particular statement totally changes. Yes, exactly, Narcan. He wasn't eating. Whose steak was that? 'Twas the lady's. Why was he sitting in that chair, though? That's the weird thing. I mean, then again, they could have just moved the fucking plate. Alright, let's do this. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Pointing his gun at the foreign man, that much I did see. Furthermore, a visual search confirmed we only have one personnel. Alone, dining all by himself. That's the one. That's the one we have to push. Let's see what the last one was, though, just in case. Nope, that's the only one that makes mention of food. Dining all by himself. Really? Well, take that. Yes. Excuse me, can I ask a question? Well, I think, What are you wittering about, lad? You call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost, here I am, the accused. Ryu? Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. Thanks. I could see it quite clearly in the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raise your hands straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully, just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Horikuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim? Ah, I see, and I don't see. What about it, boy? Comparing what is written on the report card with your witness statements... You're a liar! You're a dirty, rotten liar! Fuck you! Sorry. Something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, dear me. Have you forgotten my words so soon, young amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. No, this is an objection to an inconsistency in the statement. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon where the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's... remember, Ryu, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words, just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need to prolong the trial any further. The witness testimonies the court has heard has been clear and concise. The medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides the pale-faced pupil who... Ooh. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? Oh, what? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if you told the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating... Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korikuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You've assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Expertly done, partner. Is there an option to shove that stupid fan down his goddamn throat? Oh, it'll happen, yeah, eventually. We'll get there. You're the baby in the papoose, that's excellent. Objection! What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at the photographic evidence. Gee, it's almost as though that was somebody else seated there, eating. You can clearly see the plate of food on the victim's table. Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about, or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables with this restaurant's case have turned. Wouldn't you agree? Ryu no sake, no suke, Ryu? Yeah, Ryu. I can't say that, I'm just going to keep calling him Ryu. Yes, most definitely. Having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. What? That wasn't even my joke, that was theirs. Oh man. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who in fact was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, Consul? Consul? Oh, that's me. That means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... me! No, that's bad. An as yet unknown third party, obviously. It's not going to be the 2 witnesses. They were on their own table anyway. We don't have anybody specifically in there, so... Obviously, it can only have been someone who else was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything, yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on this table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. Hey, Lieutenant Sykes, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm doing good, thank you. How are you? Like how this samurai bandana floats and there's no draft in the room. Oh yeah, that's his magical power. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witnesses' testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling on this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, Consul, I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them! These 2 witnesses in the stand. That baby is sketchy as fuck, by the way. Yeah, he got the protag win. Exactly, yeah. That's what that is. Basically, what he's done, he's got a tiny little desk fan that we can't see from this angle that's blowing up into his face. What are you talking about? I love how the icon's just covering up most of our guy's face and all we see is the eye skitching back and forward. That's just weird. We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if that now turns out to be the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you'll be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? No! Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Well now. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korakuta-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders. Now hold on, lad. I was, you say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What? What? What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Oh no. Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. The baby told me to do it. Order! Order! Consul, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear now you tried to pervert these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not! The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouths shut? Well, God, look at the kids. Oh! That's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? No! You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ryu? Kill them. Judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. We need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever really did this wielded his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found new clues as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. But please, wait, Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. Yeah, or a really well-connected businessman. Could very well be. Or a major criminal. Could be a Yakuza. I mean, we have Kazuma here already. In my mind, he already kind of looks a bit like Kiryu, so, you know. And what does the defense have to say about all of this? Well, Your Excellency... Oh, no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. But first, should I just not at least... Look at everything, even my own badge. What is this shit? Ah, the symbol of Yume University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like the spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although, It does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on the badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders, a sharp pin for a sharp mind or something. Interesting. Oh, there's a number on the back. Interesting. My personal student number is engraved on the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as a UMA student at the university. You may not come in, as they say. Oh, of course. You can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere, but then I forgot to forget that. Yeah. So the number is 000901. Not many university students. We know about that. Oh, we got a magnifying glass. Oh, that is so good. I like this. We got nothing we can look at. Alright, so this is the floor plan on the business card drawn by the waiter. The plan of this restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything in the moments following the incident, but there's nothing to show the woman you saw there. Exactly. That's not all. Look here in the upper left where it says kitchen. Oh yes. What of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen, especially not if they were in a hurry. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder, Ryu. Alright, so this is all just one big click zone then. Okay. Yeah, they made it all grainy as well. That was pretty good. I like that. Very authentic feeling. Ah, we can now see the actual other side. Wait a minute, hang on. Oh, the waiter said this was his business card. And that he drew this. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. It's not even a waiter. Well, that's unexpected. What is it? Look. Don't you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga? Well, yes, the business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. His job? Oh! Oh! Nani? Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau Inspector. What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence if they're wielding it somehow here. Right, that's been updated. Aha! So now we know who's manipulating shit. This is so cool, I love it. Alright, so we've already done that one though. So that's it. Who's manipulating this shit? Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... this guy. Right? Right.
Yes!
Don't make fun of Wolf's hairline like that, it's just rude. I mean, you know, I just had my hair cut, guys. It makes me look more bold, I know, but... well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. No, Hosonaga-san. The waiter who took the stand earlier. Poppycock. What possible reason could the waiter have to make the witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even the head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. Well, for one, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. Oh, what? If you truly were. Come on, Ryu. Time to hit the court with the truth. We're gonna slap you in the face with the truth. Truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity is proven by this evidence.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree, it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. Some people might call it the front of the card. Oh. Yes, you can access it by flipping it around. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front. God damn it, man, it's the front! Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. Oh, God. That's where the telling detail is. Your Honor, just turn the card over. Let me just make this simple for you. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of a restaurant on the reverse side of a business card. The front of the business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... I mean, I did think it was weird that a waiter has a business card. The fuck on. Why does a waiter get a business card for? Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Ooh, what? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? Because, ouchie, you suck. You are the tutorial. Get over yourself. The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power, as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen the foreign gentlewoman in the scene? Well... Here he is. Inspector Hosonaga. We meet again. I was worried something like this might happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It is my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you meant to say you really are a detective? Why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must... I was working undercover. Cops just don't get paid much these days, guys. I mean, they gotta hold down 2 jobs now. Undercover? Yes. There have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kinds of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to the case of this homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We've just heard new information from the 2 witnesses besides you, that at the time of the shooting there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of the person's presence having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this diner, therefore I am led to assume that you in your professional capacity as police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, a gun in hand, stood in the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. What's with him coughing up blood? Yeah, we've no idea, dude. No idea at all. It's actually pretty common for most people in Japan to have business cards. Really? Even waiters? I would have never guessed. So, the truth comes out. I mean, I know there's like an etiquette around business cards, but I still would have assumed that was just for people in professions that you would normally exchange a business card. But yeah, we don't know why he's coughing up blood. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You meant to say... Hang on, I just want to go back and have a look at one last thing he said. Okay, yeah, guessed her to be an Englishwoman. I was just, wasn't sure on that. Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if the Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. If they worked a more upscale restaurant, it's not too far-fetched they might have a card. I mean, I guess so, yeah. A good point. I mean, this is also a kind of an upmarket Western-style restaurant, which is now all the rage, and it's in the nice part of town, so maybe, yeah. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an English woman as a primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. But that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in the case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain one of them studying in the medical faculty's research lab is a young Englishwoman. Nani? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean... When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Jezail Brett? Jezail? Guessing Jezail? That's a weird name. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of the Yume University's medical faculty. What? What is happening here? No! It is like you said, though, far more common for business people to have cards, yeah. Jezail. Ah, it could be Jezail. Yeah. I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of the lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. I'm retiring, I'm leaving this profession, and I'm moving far the fuck away from here. No. Or, thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particular critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. Yeah, Jezzail does sound a bit more Englishy, not Jezzail. That sounds a bit... That's very Arabic sounding almost. Jezzail. Princess Jezzail of ancient Syria or something like... What? Yeah. However, as we now have discovered, this premise is false. It would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraph report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Fuck 'em. Sounds like an Assassin's Creed character. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Yes, Altair, go and meet the guy at the bureau. Their name is Jezzail. Calm yourself, Consul. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Oh. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Jezzail Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. It's like, dude, what other fucking choice do I have now? I've been found out. So, yeah, as I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. You introduced this flaw into this investigation, so you're not doing a very good job. So it won't be a problem. Oh. Nothing will get in my way. Except maybe whatever the fuck that is, like, holy shit. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Jezzail Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Yeah, maybe you should go to the hospital after this trial, just saying, yeah. Hey, there's an auto-save now. Oh, interesting. The other game didn't have that. We had to replay, what, like 45 minutes of a trial because of one mistake that we made where the game threw us into like an end game situation, and it was like, dude, you got that wrong. But it didn't, but it was from so far back. It was after I made an actual other save, and it was like from way the fuck back. You know, that like if you pick that option, it takes you down a long story path that ends with you losing instead of a one that ends with you winning, and it's like, fuck me. It's either lung cancer or he's so full of justice that it's destroying him from the inside out. I like the second one better. He needs a justicectomy just to get all that justice out of there. I need to drain it out. Excellent work, Ryu. That was superb. Oh, my heart was in my mouth the entire time. Urgh. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Jezzail Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about the young gentlewoman, thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. She's probably like the daughter of like an ambassador or some shit like that. Why the hell isn't Kazuma the one leading the defense? He's pretty clearly more apt at dealing with this. Yeah, so you missed the thing at the beginning here, Alchemist. Right. So Kazuma has been selected to go on a foreign exchange. He's going to go to Great Britain and he's going to go study how the legal system and the court proceedings and stuff work there as part of a deal with the Yume University. At the very beginning, one of the professors, the guy who's in charge of this whole thing, this guy here, Eugene Mikotoba, he's the medical school professor here at the university. He came to our character as Kazumi came up and said, "Oh, I'm going to be your lawyer." Then the judge called Kazuma to his office to talk about this. Like, dude, you took this on at the last second. Are you sure? The professor came up and said, "So, there's a lot of peculiarities here, a lot of politics." It's like, here's the thing. You'll be asked a question at the beginning. It's imperative, but before anyone else says anything, you say, "I do." And we're like, what? But he never told us what the question was going to be. Then the judge said, who advocates for the defendant in this case? So we were supposed to say, "I do," as in like, I'm defending myself. Because if this case goes down the shitter, Kazuma will not be allowed to go on his foreign exchange. This will be a big black mark against him. He's going to lose the case. They'll be like, I guess we'll just send another candidate because this guy's now got this whole shit on him. And then this professor would have been very unhappy because he likes this kid and he wants him to do well, you know. So he told us to defend ourselves, so we did. Even though I chose not to, the game still contrived me to do it. It was like, oh no, you are doing this. Yeah, you are going to defend yourself. And why does he also have a sword on his hip? Because it's Japan. Now, doesn't everybody walk around with samurai swords, you know? Surely. They all walk around with samurai swords. It's Japan. Hey, monument to awfulness. Just had you a shower. So good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This morning, I've been doing a lot of packing recently, and it was really hot earlier in the week, so, well, really muggy anyway, not hot. It was clammy and muggy and weird, and I was drenched in sweat. After a shower, it was like, oh god, I feel human again. Really nice. Erikai! Here you are. What is up? Feel like a newborn pizza. Ooh. Want pics? No, I'm good. I'll take you. I'll trust you on that. How's the game? Loving it so far. We're just doing the tutorial, but already it's fun. It's really, really good. Yeah, not in the Meiji era, swords were reserved for police and high-ranking officials. Well, I think this university is technically considered part of some kind of military institution, kind of, or some sort of formal institution. You know, it's not like a university today where they're all considered private students. They're also cadets in a sense, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe it's a symbol of them because I don't think our character's got one. It's like a symbol of the fact that he's like top of the class or something, so he's given this kind of privilege. So counterturners is a high rank official. Yeah, I mean these guys are students of that, but technically I guess they're already enrolled in a government capacity. Draw something to commemorate this. Yes, please, Eric, I do. That may make sense. Yeah, that's it. Could be. Could very well be. Alright, back to this though. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself, then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table. I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, bang. I didn't have any time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. You're under arrest. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Although I did eat everything. Oh, yeah. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Ah, here he is. So this is the guy that told us to defend ourselves, but he didn't say that Kazuma couldn't be part of the courtroom proceedings. He just said he cannot be our defense lawyer. Doesn't mean to say he can't assist. So he's like, you know, toe the line. They also get special pocket-sized machine that makes sure there's always a dramatic breeze blowing everywhere they go. See, I said that. He's got a little desk fan that he put, we couldn't see it. It was like out of camera angle. So, yeah. Where no breeze should logically be blowing. For some reason, I see Alchemist as a Sogi. Yeah, protag wind, exactly. Sounds like a terrible intestinal disease. Protag. Yeah, it's the one that only main characters can get, and you get very gassy. Ugh. Professor Mikotoba! Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid the situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference, lawyer or otherwise. If I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. There's the personal connection. Also, the potential new suspect is studying in that department, medical department. So there we go. You know, in Japan, there's probably an anime about intestinal diseases. Probably. Oh, yeah. There's a bright-eyed woman with massive tits for some reason, despite the fact that they're diseases. Yep. That's it. That's how it goes. Depending how long this is, I might not see it. You might not see it. Me and the girlfriend gotta run errands in a bit. It's gonna be a busy day for you then. Japan be weird, it is. It is. But we love it for that. We love the weirdness of Japan. We absolutely do. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool in their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt you pair will put up a good fight. Right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand to the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-san. Or Sama. Defendant Naruhodo. Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's get in there and deal a decisive blow. Before these old fossils know what hit them. Wow, that's very Thank you, really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend, coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. It is going to be a bit of a busy day, but thankfully we don't really have to worry about the hurricane. Well, that's good. Yeah, I was wondering actually, because there's lots right now, isn't there? There's the one that's been going up the east coast, there's another one coming into the Gulf. Like, fuck. It's the season, isn't it, though? Hurricane season. Well, I'm glad to hear you're not in its path. That's good. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from the Yume cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Sukiyaki. Yummy. Yummy. A lot of typing. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchie, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Well, what's the thought process? We need a compelling plot with distracting and well-designed characters and a gripping presentation. Suddenly, Dim Joe emerges from his pillow fort. Anyone ever wanted to fuck a disease? Oh no. And then they have 942 episodes by the end of the first week. Yeah. Dude, that's how they go. That's how they roll. How's your country doing politically and the people, Iron Wolf? In Germany, it's, well, complicated. Sort of the same. A little bit stable, but overall kind of dull and stupid, you know. Ministers getting caught on scandals and fucking apologizing and people just mishandling everything they touch, but overall life just moves on. That's politics, dude. That's just how things go. Yeah. But overall, slightly rocky. Doesn't feel as bad as it did a few years ago, though. It felt like, actually, you know what, England felt like it was heading for some kind of civil breakdown several years ago. You know, with all the fucking election shit and everything post-Brexit, really, just felt like a roller coaster of turds. That's just what it was. Same here, yeah. I mean, anywhere there's politicians, there's shit. We're stepping in their shit every day. So, yeah. Some days there's just more of it than others. Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under a rather painful scrutiny from the government. Ugh, sorry. No, don't be sorry. Let the government scrutinize, that's their job. Nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down? Are our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. Yes. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up. Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy. You and your friends know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with a great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert, I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too, but standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. He got you there, Ouchie. You and your friend will be studying in Manchester. Really, Erikai? Awesome. That's like an hour and a half's drive away from here. When's that happening? Still feels like we're heading for a civil breakdown here. Yeah, I can understand, Alchemist. It's, yeah. Shit, like I said, shit's been bad. It's not just people would blame COVID, but it's not really. This is a mountain of shit that's been building for the last decade, and it's got so top heavy it's now going to fall on us. You know, in many countries. You know, seeds that were sown a long time ago are getting reaped round about now. So yeah. Well said, Ryu, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. Thank you, Consul. The court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. COVID and the election you feel are just a catalyst. Yeah, exactly. I mean, nothing... People always look at, like, when things start falling over, they always look at what happened immediately before and say, oh, that's the problem. And it's like, how about maybe many years ago when the build-up of shit was happening? That's when things started going wrong. It's not just that. That's just, like you said, the catalyst. That's the moment that prodded the problem. The stacked up tower of crap got pushed. But who stacked the tower of crap to begin with? You know, for over here at least. Yeah, but I mean right now, and you know, again in this country, the things that have been going on here have been brewing for years and years, and then, yeah, everything just went to shit. So, sadly, not much we can do about it other than vote. You know, just that's why voting is important. And not just that, but telling the people you did or didn't vote for why you did it. So they know. Otherwise, they just assume why they got or didn't get votes and keep doing the wrong-headed shit that they keep doing. With that in mind, the trial will now resume, with the next witness taking the stand. Yes, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's all Luke Skywalker's fault. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Yes, Your Excellency. He could be a little less creepy about that. Okay, now the swans escaped. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan and from such a distant land. Creep. Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea. Truth. Oh, is that true? No idea. I'm gonna enjoy this part. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the record? Stop drooling, dude. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. Shut up, I'm not talking to you. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at Le Carnival. Yes, we know about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description of this amazing sight was simply a woman. Well, yeah. What are you trying to say? Unpopular opinion, but I blame mass immigration for some of the problems we're facing. I don't think it's as simple as that. Not really, not at all, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. Sorry, Ryunosaki, but your powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. Don't say that too loud, you're in court, dude. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. The fuck is this Phantom of the Opera shit? What? Nani?